Havens here with Lone Pine Bushcrafters, and today I'm going to do a modification. I'll show you a little bit of a modification that I did. Now I'm new at this. I don't want to mimic anything. I just like like-minded people, and there was a one tarp tent that a YouTuber that goes by the name of Thunder Addle, which is Thunder. Actually, it's no. So I'm not really good at speaking here. T.L. Havens with Lone Pine Bushcrafters. I like-minded people, and Thunderbird Addle, ATL, did a one tarp tent. I did a wonderful job teaching that. It was something I was looking for. It's just that the flooring was separated, and I didn't want to sew the flooring where I lost the versatility of my tarp. I wanted it to maintain its tarpness, but be a 1-2 person tent if need be, and where I was only carrying one piece of equipment that would do 2 or 3 different things. And so that's what I'm going to show you here. What I ended up doing, instead of sewing it, I put snaps on it so it'll hold together the floor, and even put snaps on the flaps to it, so you can snap those together, and even snaps where you can enclose it a little bit if you need to. The cool thing about it is you can take that one tarp tent and design it to where you're crawling in it, but you can keep your fire close, which I'll show in later videos. I'm taking and putting snaps without messing up my ability to use my grommets, and I'm not really measuring. I'm just kind of evenly spacing them out, and this is a 9 by 12 tarp, which is perfect when you fold it and roll it up. It's not very heavy, and it's not very big or unmanageable, but I still have the versatility of a tarp. When I open it up, I'm not ruining my tarp, and now I can close in my floor, for example, and I may do a few snaps on the flap of the tent. Now what I'm doing is I'm marking them just with a pen. I just mark the hole where I want it, and then I have a leather awl because I do sew a lot of stuff with leather, and I'm just making a hole here just big enough for my snap to go in there. Now let me show you the different tools we need for. So these are the materials for this one snap. Okay, so I have the button here, which I would call the top part of the snap, and this will go on there like that. And then I have the bottom part of the snap, which this looks kind of funny, but it's the bowl, what I call the bowl, and it will go on there like that. And as you can tell from other snaps that I've done, I just want to kind of keep them uniform. This is what it looks like when it's attached, and you'll notice the inside that's spread out, and this one is not. Okay, same thing with the bowl. If I were to turn it over, you would be able to see that. So here it is not, and if you turn it over, you'll see that's the back side. Now the way you get this secured is by spreading that middle part out, and you do that with these tools. Now here's your bolt. This is just a hammer tool basically, and one side has this little circle. This is for your bowl, the bottom part. Okay, this smooth bowl type deal is for your button, so that you don't scratch it up, and it lays really nicely in here as you position it. Now this piece right here, you can see, has a little knob on it, and then of course I'm using a very severe hammer, so I've marred it, which doesn't hurt it. But once you get this together, then that little piece goes in there, and you hit it with a hammer, and it spreads it out like that. Okay, so I'm going to take my awl, and I have my top hole marked. I don't have my bottom one marked yet. So I'm going to snap the last snap that I fixed, and I'm going to make my hole here kind of in the center of this. Not to poke my fingers or anything, but I insert my awl, and I'm just going to kind of spread out the hole just a little bit, and I'm listening and feeling. So I don't want to rip a big hole in this. I just want a small hole, kind of like that. Because now on my button here, I'm going to take the top part, I'm going to insert it in here like this, and I'm going to just work that top part of that snap in there, and it pokes through. You can kind of see the stud poking through. Then I want, now the trick is to make sure you get the right parts with the right parts. So I want the male portion of the snap, if you will, to go on there like that. Okay, so you can see the top and you can see the bottom. Now, it's not spread out. Okay, so now I have to take my bowl and place it there and lay it on a flat surface, and I'm using just a piece of wood here. I take my mallet tool, place it there. Now, one of my favorite tools is, I got this as Ace Hardware. It's actually a roofing hammer, but it's very sharp. It's a very nice little tomahawk type. It's a severe hammer. It's not very heavy, but I do like this. It gives me a wide portion to hit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to smack this. You don't want to overkill it, but I can feel it sink down. I can feel it go down almost like when you're driving a nail. And then what you get is the inside of that spread out. Okay, now typically what I do, and I've forgotten to do each time, is before I insert this, take my pen and mark the bottom hole, because you have a hole through your tarp and you'll mark it. Well, I've forgotten to do that. So what happens if you forget to do that? Okay, so I line up my tarp and I press really hard, get my pen ready. I press really hard on that. So now when I lift up, I can see where this creates a circle. Okay, this part right here creates a circle, just temporarily, enough for me to see where that should snap in. Okay, so I get everything lined up, push down really hard, I see my circle, I put my pen in the middle of that circle, and I mark where my bottom portion of the button is going to go. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. Now I'm inserting it. I don't want to poke any holes in any other part of my tarp, so I'm real cautious with this. Owl's very sharp. I actually, you can hurt yourself with these. They're very sharp, very, very pointy. They're designed to go through leather. So as I get my hole, here's the tricky part. I wanted this tarp to fold up, so when it lays on the floor, it's flat, like this, okay? So I have to fold the bottom part of this tarp up so it snaps. So when the floor lays, it'll be flat and there won't be a ridge, okay? So I'm not matching it like this because there would be a ridge in my floor. I want to lay it flat, so that's why I'm folding that up and doing it like that. On the bottom part though, you don't want to put this like this, because now your snap is on the inside. You've got to put this on the back side where your stud, let me get this pulled through here. There you go. Okay, and it's a tight fit where your stud points to the male part of the snap. Now I can take this, and you want the bowl side up. You don't want it like that because it's not going to snap. You want to put it like that. And then I'm going to put my little mallet tool there and give it some good wax. Make sure it's secure, and then test my snap. And there we go. another snap installed. Now, I want to show you one thing here. When I create my hole for my top part of my snap, okay, I have a pretty good size hole. I should lay this to make it easier on myself right where I want it. Take my pen and mark my bottom hole about where it's going to be. Okay, so you've seen two different ways to do it. This saves me a little bit of trouble because now I can go in, kind of approximate. Of course, if it's marked there and you need to adjust it a little bit, that's fine. And I can now create my bottom hole for my button and add another button on there.